yellow car back on row 3 of the grid. The red lights are on now, and out they go, and it's a pretty even start from the 2 on the front. A good start too by Paul Thorpe on the second row of the grid in his XR2. Pete Morgan's made a decent getaway from the 3rd row as well. It's Chris Deere who's tucked in behind Stuart Place then on the run up to the first corner by the looks of it at Riches. And they all stream through. Have they made it all safely through? It looks like they have. So this field of more than 20 cars heading up towards the Wilson hairpin for the first time, and it looks like it is still Stuart Place leading the way then from Chris Deere in second, and Paul Thorpe I think in third as they come down to the left-hander at Palmer for the first time.
Yeah, Stuart Place was a full second faster than anybody else in qualifying, and Chris Deere was a further 2 seconds faster than anybody else. So we'll see how this race goes. But Stuart Place pulling away from Chris Deere. Chris Deere's got a championship in mind. Stuart Place hasn't got to worry about that. Pete Morgan, of course, is Chris Deere's championship rival. The Ford Fiesta XR2 doesn't necessarily go so well here at Snetterton, and Pete Morgan has a lot of ballast in, success ballast for wins last time out at Pembrose, so we'll see how that will affect things. Stuart Place is off, he's on the grass, he's back on the track, he still leads, but that he took a lot of speed there through Hamilton, and now he's got dirt on his tyres, so this means Chris Deere is starting to close him in again, because Stuart Place did have a very big lead after 4 corners, but that lead a little bit less now after that dicey moment lap or a few corners go. But yeah, Paul Thorpe is there in third, showing the Ford Fiesta XR2 goes well around this Snetterton 300 circuit as we see the cars head down the Bentley Straight.
We do indeed. So Stuart Place it is that's leading as well down the championship standings. He didn't take part in the last couple of races of the championship. Chris Deere there in second is second in the championship. Then it's Paul Thorpe and then it's Pete Morgan, who has made up a couple of places from the grid in spite of all of that ballast, and he's got ahead of the Ben Bateman. He has got past Paul Thorpe now as well at Nelson, and Thorpe might lose a couple of positions here because Bateman in the Nova, the black Nova, is alongside him. We've got to watch out too for Robert Campbell in 47 as well. There's contact and Paul Thorpe up on 2 wheels. I thought the car was going to go over for a moment. Fortunately it didn't, and Paul Thorpe survived, but now he's down in the midfield. That was a dicey old moment. Oh, there's still cars going off at Coram, I can see. So this has caused a real bottleneck where cars now are going all over the place here. None of that is a worry for the top 4 because they're all well ahead of it. Here come the rest. Paul Thorpe's got clear now of everybody else, but it's Stuart Place and Chris Deere, 2 of the championship contenders from last year. It's, oh goodness me, Pete Morgan and Ben Bateman almost had an accident there, rather unnecessarily into the pit wall, but Ben Bateman was able to avoid that. He's going around the outside of Pete Morgan now into Ritchie's, and Morgan collects the grass on the inside of the circuit. They're still side by side, I think. Yeah, they are, aren't they, as they go down towards the Wilson hairpin? Yeah, absolutely right, and we'll see which one comes out in front. Just looking down towards...
Jason Wood is 6th from 12th on the grid, so that's he managed to avoid the incident, didn't he? That's it, so we've got the leaders coming to Palmer now, so it's Stuart Place and Chris Deere, and then it's Pete Morgan ahead of Ben Bateman then, so Morgan ahead of Bateman as he was over the line. Paul Thorpe 5th after all of that as well. That's quite the achievement, isn't it, having been up on 2 wheels. I thought he might lose a bit more ground than that, but as you say, the other cars having their own incidents behind him, which probably stymied their progress somewhat. Yeah, that's not a place you want to go on 2 wheels, is it, through there? It's very quick, but he managed to avoid any kind of disaster. Jason Wood, as I say, that great sort of avoidance by him. He's got up into 6th position now in his Nova. The other Nova, Ben Bateman, is all over the back of Pete Morgan there as they went through. And now Kayser's trying to come through on Jason Wood. He's had quite a decent season, Martin Kayser, a couple of podiums this year. And I think he's going to gain a place ahead of Jason Wood. Then Darren Bassingthwaite up in 8th position. Again, he must have... Well, he qualified well, actually, didn't he? 10th. So this is probably his best performance in classic stock. Actually, he's had one top 10, but a big grid here. What the biggest grid we've had this season. Yeah. So that's doing a good job. Yellow flags there, not sure if that's what side of the track that's on. There was a car parked on the right hand side of the circuit possibly, not sure who it was, possibly someone who's dropped out in the first lap of the race. So Stuart Place still leads ahead of Chris Deere, he's pulling away. It's sort of a reversal of what we saw here at the end of last year where Chris Deere had the pace and managed to pull away. But here this weekend it's Stuart Place who's out front in his Peugeot 205 GTI. He's reverted back to his car that he raced last season with so much success, and he turns his way then through. It's Robert Campbell who's come into the pit lane. He qualified well. Was he the one that got involved with Paul Thorpe? That's right. Right, okay, so that makes a bit of sense. So he's retired from the race. So here's Stuart Place then, up across the line to complete 2 laps of racing. 2 minutes 24.5 is his first flying lap, 1.4 seconds clear of Chris Deere. But it's side by side for third because Ben Bateman's trying again to get past Pete Morgan. He's trying to go around the outside. They're pretty much side by side there, but again Pete Morgan is able to hang on. They're in third position, so doing better than his qualifying pace suggested. I think he said at the end of Pembrey to me, there's no point coming to Snetterton because I call no points because the car's no good around this track, but he's in third place after a good start.
Experienced driver as well, Pete Morgan. That's the leaders then, heading through Palmer.
92 with damage into the pit lane is Rick Groom.
And it looks like he's out of the race, I think.
Yeah, quite a dent in the front of that car.
I wonder if he got involved in that issue at Coram on the opening lap.
Then there was that secondary issue, at, like you say, at Coram, and I think it might have been his car on the grass, so that would make some sense as well. So a few damaged cars in this, it would seem, but it's still a good grid of 20 cars out there. Got the Metro out there at the back as well. Terry Deere, so good to see a Metro back into stock catch competition.
Yeah, the number 2 car in 20th position. I can see that Jason Wood in 6th place has got a bit of a queue of cars gathering behind him, including Martin Kayser, who's only 7th today.
Yeah, Kayser didn't get past him. I thought he was going past sort of a lap ago.
Darren Bassingthwaite, Martin Rogers also in that group, and Finn Groom a little bit further behind. It was pretty much level peg with Titch Kalsall over the line at the end of the previous lap.
Pete Morgan's just pulled his car right to the left-hand side of the circuit to keep Ben Bateman behind, just in the background for third. Meanwhile, it's Stuart Place up front, still going away from Chris Deere. The gap was 1.5 seconds at the start of the lap. The 2 Peugeots, a good circuit this, it would seem, for the Peugeots. Then in third is Morgan, so he did fend off Ben Bateman. So then you have got 2 Peugeots at the front, but then you've got the XR2 and the Nova in third and fourth positions. No XR2Is right at the front today. They were better when Lee Scott was racing, I guess. He always saw XR2I win races. Ben Bateman's almost in the boot of Pete Morgan's car as they turn into Murray's. Morgan's gone a bit wide here, so we know the Nova through the gears should have an advantage on this XR2 with the success ballast. So can Ben Bateman here get into third place?
Yeah, I think he can, you know, up to the line. Yes, he's fully ahead of Pete Morgan's car now. So number 93, Ben Bateman, a winner at Donington Park last year on his first ever appearance. He's now back up into third position. But Stuart Place, the leader, has done the best lap there, a 2:24.03. The lap record for these cars is a 2:23.10, set 5 years ago now by Matt Rosier in a Peugeot 205. So that's a fairly well-established lap record now.
Stuart Place did get into the 22s in qualifying, but he knows, all right, Ryan Clark's in trouble. Has he also got damage front right corner there on that car, possibly?
Possibly, yep. So that's the number 33 car of Ryan Clark heading into the pit lane, which is a tremendous shame for the 41-year-old from Reigate, the owner of Gatwick Vans.
What was I talking about? Oh yes, so Stuart Place got into the 222s in quali, but they know on these warm days that you kind of need to look after the tyres just a touch to make sure you don't overheat them, although it's not as hot as yesterday in testing, so it shouldn't be as much of a problem. Pete Morgan's fighting back for third, and Ben Bateman, inexperienced young driver, runs a bit wide. Pete Morgan, more experienced driver. He can't get through though, they stay in the same order. Still the Vauxhall Nova up ahead. A lot of dust settling here. The leader's coming through that, so it might just be taking a long time for the dust to settle from the previous lap. Or it might be from a different part of the circuit coming across the track. Anyway, it's not really a worry for the drivers. Stuart Place pulling clear, 2.3 seconds now ahead of Chris Deere. Then Bateman versus Morgan. Keeps look like that Paul Falk's getting closer, but the lap times don't suggest. Well, he was a half a second, wasn't he, on the last lap? He's back. Pete Morgan's grass tracking. He's back on again. You don't really lose much time today going off, do you? Because there is a decent amount of grip to be found out there. Yeah,
I mean the grass is so dry, and the ground so dusty. Really drought conditions here in Norfolk. Probably going to end tomorrow, we think, looking at the forecast. But nevertheless, lots of grip at the moment off road, and plenty of road and a bit more being used by both Bateman and Morgan there. And there's Jason Wood. He's still got this gaggle of cars behind him. It's Martin Rogers now that's made his way to the front of that group at the expense of Martin Kayser.
Side by side then for third into Ritchie's. Pete Morgan slots him back behind. Ben Bateman then dives to the inside. He's not going to make that work. Now Paul Thorpe, yeah, he was a full second quicker on that last lap. So he's 2 seconds behind those two in third and fourth positions. So Martin Rogers has got himself ahead of Kayser then, hasn't he, in that battle that you were describing, behind Jason Wood. So Rogers is doing a good job here. He's the third fastest person on the road. Actually, Richard Kelsall from the back is. Yep. He's up to 9th. 2:25.14. So he's the third fastest driver out there. Yeah, Darren Bassingthwaite's not come through, who was going well.
No, he's dropping down the timing screens, isn't he? So the Bassingthwaite Peugeot 205 for the local man from Attleborough just down the road. Sadly not having the best of days here. What have we got? 4 minutes left to go in this race, so we'll have 2 more laps, I think, at the end of this. Still the fight for third place raging on between Ben Bateman and Pete Morgan. Morgan, the man that is leading the championship coming into this weekend by 19 points from Chris Deere, who's 2 places ahead of him on the road at the moment.
I think Martin Rogers had an electrical issue in qualifying. Where did he start? Was that well down as well?
He started 9th.
So perhaps he lost some time in that melee on the first lap.
Yeah.
He's fought back well, so not quite as many places gained as Titch Kelsall, who's there in P9 at the start of that. Let's see if we can pick them up. So here's third, Ben Bateman in the Nova, under pressure actually from Pete Morgan, so we might have to watch this before we look further back. But Morgan can't go through into Brundle, about into Nelson, getting the car slowed down. Well, Ben Bateman's got that all under control. Then it's, Paul Thorpe there in 5th. Then Jason Wood's hanging on to 6th, but he's got both Martin Rogers and Titch Kelsall behind, 2 of the quickest drivers in this race. So they'll be looking to find a way past Jason Wood at the end of this race. There's 2 laps to go at the conclusion of this one. Ben Bateman's car twitching around there through Coram. I think we're going to pick up that 6th place battle now. There they are, Jason Wood just ahead. Last lap, Bordeaux goes out a little bit early, I think, so that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? We've had 12 minutes of racing, so that's sort of big 14.5-minute race.
Yes.
And Stuart Place's lead comes down the smallest of fractions on that lap. The gap is 3 seconds between himself and Chris Deere. Pete Morgan's having another go at getting past Ben Bateman. He dives up the inside. Ben Bateman's got a problem, surely. So Ben Bateman, real shame for him, running third, but he slowing down just before the corner there with some kind of issue.
Yep, so Paul Thorpe goes through as well, up into 4th spot now. So Ben Bateman, I think, possibly might not even get to the end of the race here. So there's Morgan now in 3rd, Thorpe in 4th, and you could see in the background there that it looked like Jason Wood was up to 5th position, and Bateman indeed driving off onto the grass there to park at the Wilson hairpin. There's our race leader though, Stuart Place. He's 3 seconds or so clear of Chris Deere in 2nd place. Deere with a heavier car because he's carrying some success ballast from previous races, whereas Stuart Place isn't.
Yeah, that's right. So that'll be altered a little bit for tomorrow, but for today it's Stuart Place out front, and he is working his way down towards Oggies, just ahead by 3 or so seconds from Chris Deere. Pete Morgan clear just about of Paul Thorpe for 3rd. Jason Wood's now got Titch Kelsall behind him because Kelsall's got himself up ahead of Martin Rogers. So he's got past one of the PDC cars, and he'd like to get past the other one before the race is done. But here comes Stuart Place then, down the Bentley Straight for the final time at his local circuit for Stuart Place. It's always been the way, isn't it, with stock catch drivers coming from this general area, from the East Anglia region. And Stuart Place then turns his way through. He's got his whole family here watching today, and hopefully get through the last few corners okay.
Yep, indeed. So he's heading towards the long right-hander at Coram there. We can see him on screen now in the number 87 car. Chris Deere, it is in 2nd place, and number 46, the driver from Farnborough in Hampshire. He's not going to manage to get the win today, I don't think. And you can see Pete Morgan and Paul Thorpe 3rd and 4th, but coming up to the line to take the checkered flag at the end of 6 laps of racing, it is going to be Stuart Place taking the victory in the Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Catch Championship from Chris Deere in 2nd place. 1.71 seconds between the 2 Peugeots. Then it's the 2 XR2s next up. First of all, Pete Morgan in car number 8, and then Paul Thorpe in number 40. Jason Wood takes 5th. Titch Kelsall up into 6th place there on the final lap, number 89. 7th to number 39, Martin Rogers. 8th to number 88, Martin Kayser. 9th to number 12, James Hazelhurst. He's been a winner in the past. And 10th will be Finn Groom, who sort of gains that position on the final lap with the demise of Ben Bateman.
The next car through, Paul Brock's bonnet was ajar. I didn't quite catch that properly, so I'm not quite. And there's a bumper coming off the next car, right? Put these things together. That Neil Dudman, who had damage to the rear, and presumably Paul Brock therefore that was damage to the front of the car. I think there might be some work to do in the Classic Stock Hatch paddock after that race.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
But at least 2 of the drivers that Kieran will have to speak to, they've probably got less to talk about because Stuart Place pulled away from Chris Deere and then they sort of drove around for 6 laps and finished in 1st and 2nd positions. Pete Morgan had a bit of a busier race with Ben Bateman, but it was all going on behind, it would seem, particularly on that 1st lap, and then obviously some more things out of our vision before that. But a race win for Stuart Place, his first win of the season. It's been a problematic season for him up to now. I think just one finish, or a couple of finishes before now. Because he had that problem with Croft when he was leading. Had a couple of finishes in Silverstone, then didn't do the 2 races at Pembroke. But a win here. So Chris Deere gets, 2 points back on Pete Morgan. So it's still a good lead for Pete Morgan, 17 points. Chris Deere hasn't won yet, has he? He was so successful at the end of last year.
Yes, he was.
But that's his 3rd time in the runner-up position. But he'll be pleased to be ahead of Pete Morgan this time, rather than behind, as the case had been on the previous meeting. But yeah, some good drives from further back. Titch Kelsall, I guess, is the one that's mainly comes to mind. And he's going to have to do it again tomorrow because it's the 2nd best lap from quali. Not sure what the problem was for him in qualifying, but he obviously didn't get a lap in, so therefore has to start from the back on both occasions. See Stuart Place and Chris Deere having a chat. As I say, they didn't really have a battle as such, did they?
No, it's a very quiet race up at the front, really, for the Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatches, but more interest for 3rd. There's Ben Bateman, his car having come to a halt on the final lap of the race. There's Nova, so that'll be recovered.
He had an engine issue at Pembroke, so that's a fear that something's come back again. There was no smoke or anything like that. It was a bit weird, wasn't it? It just looked like he was slowing down for the corner a bit early, and obviously a bit more than that. And only got one further corner, so the Snetterton recovery team are there. And let's head downstairs and hear from the top 3 with Kieran.
So the conclusion then of the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship race, and I'm here with our race winner, the number 87 of Stuart Place. Stuart, congratulations on the victory. Talk to us about that race.
Yeah, it was really not too bad. Chris put me under quite a bit of pressure at the start, but once I managed to get a gap on him, it wasn't too bad. But towards the end, the tyres were starting to go off and the car was sliding more. But after, just backed off a touch because I knew I'd got a gap, and then away we went. So no, really nice. I still had them in the mirrors, so you can't back off. You can never think it's done, but it was really good. The old car is working very well. We didn't expect to have this one out this year, so yeah, I'm very pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you hope that the cars behind you just start battling so you can just try and sneak away, is that right?
Yeah, I was hoping what was happening was they were fighting amongst themselves so I could gap as much as possible. And then I knew the tyres would go. It was just hoping I got a big enough gap once they'd gone for those to not catch me when my tyres had shot. But it was really good, very hot, very enjoyable.
Good stuff. And, well, congratulations on the victory, Stuart, and go away and enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Stuart Place there, our winner for that one. Let's have a look and see if we can have a chat to the number 46 in... number 46 of Chris Deere. I don't know if you can reach this way, Pat. Hopefully that camera holds dear. Chris, congratulations, P2 then. How are you feeling after that?
Was that P2?
Where are you?
No,
are you?
I got P3.
Are you got P3? Are you Pete Morgan?
Yeah.
Oh, I called for Chris. Anyway, we'll talk to you, Pete, then.
Go on, then, I'm better than him.
Well, P3 then. Talk to us about it. How do you feel out there?
To be honest with you, that's as good as a win for me, because I can't catch these two around here. Brands Hatch, different kettle of fish. Cadwell Park, yeah, we're on the ball there. But that for me is far better than I thought we were ever going to get, to be honest with you.
And talk to us about the battle then for second place.
There wasn't one. No, third place. I was with another kid out there somewhere. These two had long gone, to be honest with you. I can't live with them around here, but, you know, I've lost a couple of points to him. It doesn't really matter as long as I don't lose too much today. I go to Brands Hatch, I think, with a bit more. That's my circuit. That'll do me.
Great stuff. Well, congratulations on the podium and enjoy it.
Second would help.
It would. Well, congratulations, Pete Morgan, third place there. Let's see if we can have a chat to our second place driver in Chris here. There he is. He's trying to impersonate you there. Absolutely, I agree. Chris, congratulations, P2. How'd you feel?
Not bad. It was a bit of a boring race for up the front. I just sat behind Stuart going, I'll see you. But you know what? We finished second. We swapped an engine last night when our race engine went pop, so you know, we got the points. We're in front of Pete, who's our championship rival, by 1 place, which is a bit of a pain. I would like to be a few more places in front, but it's what it is. But my dad's made his comeback today at 70 years of old, so I got a race on the same track as my dad. We've brought a Metro back into the championship, and we're on the podium. So happy days.
How do you feel about that? 'Cause that must be a special moment for you.
Well, yeah. Now he was trying not to be lapped by me, and I was trying to lap him. So I didn't manage to lap him. So that means he's too fast. He's too quick and I wasn't quick enough. So tomorrow I have to drive faster, which might mean I'll beat Stuart. Fingers crossed. Take your handbrake off, Dad.
Take your handbrake off. All good advice. Thank you very much, Chris. Congratulations on second place. And that concludes then that race for the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship. Next up, it's the Martins Group Formula V Championship.